Hi everyone, my name is Aafaq Sabir and today I'll be presenting my work on analyzing the impact and accuracy of Facebook activity on Facebook's ad interest inference process, co-authored by Lafontaine and my advisor Dr. Anupam Das. Facebook is one of the biggest social media platforms with 2.6 billion active users. It also owns Instagram, which has over 800 million active users. Facebook is also one of the biggest social media advertisement platforms with around 10 million advertisers. Advertisement is the main source of revenue for Facebook, as 98.5% of its revenue comes from running ads alone. In order to reach relevant audience, Facebook runs targeted ads. These ads can be targeted based on specific user interests that Facebook infer when users perform different activities on the platform. Despite of running targeted ads, prior studies have found that Facebook ads can be irrelevant for the audience. In this paper, we attempt to demystify Facebook's interest inference algorithm to find out why irrelevant interests are inferred. We answer three research questions. First, we understand what user activities lead to interest inference. Second, we evaluate how accurately these interests are inferred. Lastly, we also evaluate how accurate the explanations are that Facebook provides regarding the interest inference. We collect data from two sources. We do planned activities on fresh Facebook accounts and record the interest inferred to evaluate their accuracy. We also conduct a user study through Chrome browser extension to evaluate the interest of actual users. We recruited 146 participants from Asia, Europe, and US through Amazon Mechanical Turk. In order to understand Facebook's interest inference process, we created fresh Facebook accounts and performed planned activities on them. After the activities were performed, the ad profiles of the accounts got populated with the interests. We recorded the snapshot of ad profiles every day during the experiment. To answer research question 1, we performed controlled activities. Our controlled activities were divided into two main types: positive interaction and negative interaction. Positive interaction consisted of page likes, liking or love reacting on the posts, or posting positive comments. It also included just scrolling through the posts. The negative interaction consisted of negative activities such as angry reacts or negative comments on the posts. One account was solely dedicated for positive interaction and another account was dedicated for negative interaction throughout the experiment. Both positive and negative interaction was done on the same set of Facebook pages. One dedicated account acted as a control on which no activities were performed. We performed positive interaction on one account and negative interaction on the other. However, doing only one type of interaction on an account might not represent natural behavior of a Facebook user, because users can perform both positive and negative activities together on their account rather than doing only one type of activity. So, to capture this difference and to see if Facebook infer interest differently when both positive and negative activities are performed together, we dedicated one account on which we performed both positive and negative activities on the same set of pages together. We also divided the set of pages into two parts, one for each type of activity. Then we compared the interest inferred by both types of activities to respective interests in positive and negative only profiles. We found that mixing the activities did not have a significant effect on the inference algorithm, as we saw very similar interests inferred in both cases. Both positive and negative controlled activities were repeated for different locations, gender, and age groups to capture any differences caused by these factors. After the interests were inferred, they were mapped to the activities based on timeline and were labeled as relevant or irrelevant by two researchers. The researchers performed the labeling independently, and the disagreement was quantified using Cohen's kappa metric. After that, the conflicts were resolved. We found that interest profiles for both positive and negative accounts were statistically similar by running chi-square tests. So we concluded that Facebook's inference algorithm did not consider the nature or context of the activities to infer interest, which can potentially be the reason for irrelevant interest. We also found no statistical difference for activities across all demographics, which indicates that Facebook's inference algorithm does not perform differently based on these demographics. We found that overall 33.22% or around one-third of the interests that were inferred on our control accounts were not accurate. To evaluate if our findings hold for the actual Facebook users, we conducted a user study. Our participants installed our browser extension from Chrome Web Store, which initiated the survey and data collection. After obtaining participants' consent, our extension first collected some data from participants' accounts. The data we collected includes top 10 ads with targeted explanations, most recent 100 page likes, number of total activities performed, account age, and the complete ad profile of the participant. Our user study was approved by IRB. Our browser extension generated a dynamic survey for the participants based on their own data. We asked that if they are actually interested in some of the interests from their own ad profile. We also asked if the interests mentioned in the ad explanations are relevant to them. Finally, we asked if participants see sensitive ads or ads that made them uncomfortable. We found that 26.47% of the ads that were collected were targeted based on interests which were all inaccurate. 29.30% of the interests in the ad profiles were irrelevant. We also found that 52.7% of the participants were not even aware of the targeting explanations, and 80.8% of them never changed their default ad settings. We found that participants from India were statistically more satisfied with their experience with Facebook ads. For all other questions, we did not find statistical difference despite the differences. Participants in India saw more inappropriate ads as compared to US and Europe. In US, political ads were more common as compared to other two regions. A significant proportion of participants saw ads related to medication or healthcare in all regions. Now, we evaluate the accuracy and effectiveness of interest explanations to answer our research question 3. In the ad profile, along with the list of inferred interests, Facebook also provides the reason that explains why every interest was inferred. An example of such explanation is shown in the figure. Through our controlled experiments, we found that interest explanations provided by Facebook were very generic and did not mention the exact activities that cause its inference. For our controlled Facebook profiles, we found that Facebook provided same generic explanations for all the interests that were inferred via different activities. Finally, based on our findings, we provide recommendations to Facebook in order to improve interest accuracy and user privacy mechanisms. Taking context or sentiment into account may improve the accuracy of interest. Privacy features such as ad or interest explanations should be made more accessible and noticeable. The explanations regarding data collection from user activities should be accurate and fine-grained. I will end the presentation here, and now I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.